Hello, friends. Are you ready?
What's for dinner?
I'm hungry.
Yum, 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 yum.
Delicious.
Let's go, everybody. Yay! Oh, gosh. Am I on?
Yeah. Camera, lights, action.
Zoe's Greek-style chicken soup with rice. Kotosoupa Rizi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Zoe's Blind Kitchen Corner. If you need to reach me, Zoe's Blind Kitchen Corner at gmail.com or Victor Gouveia at whoseblindlifeisitanyways@gmail.com, and he will pass the messages on to me. Of course, if you want, you can comment in the section below, in the comment section, and we will answer you, of course. You guys might say I'm not sounding as jolly as I usually do. I'm just a little bit tired, but also I have a lot of ingredients to go through with you guys, and I'm afraid I'm going to forget something. If I do, don't worry, it will be in the description box. The recipe will be in the description box. And also, as I make this recipe and we go through it, I'll let you know how much I'm using and what I'm doing. Now, I'm making chicken soup today. Zoe's chicken soup. I would call it Greek style if I was doing it the traditional way, which is called avrolemono. Basically, it's an egg lemon mixture that you do at the end and you put it in the pot. But because my mom doesn't like it, I don't make it that way because I want her to enjoy this recipe and get all the vitamins out of it and so on and so forth. So I do a different technique with olive oil and lemon juice instead of eggs and lemon juice. However, on another recipe, I will show you that. So if you want to make this soup with the egg lemon mixture at the end, I will tell you which recipe you'll refer to, and you can go and see how to do that part and add it to the soup. Now, we have a lot of ingredients, so now this recipe is very customizable. Don't feel like you have to get exact amount of what I'm doing. Okay, I will write it in the description box, but remember, for example, let's just start and I'll tell you. Okay, so back here, I have 4 large carrots divided. Then here I have celery leaves. How much? It's up to you. Here I have about 6 large stalks of celery divided. There's a reason why I'm saying divided. Oops, I'm so sorry. There's a reason why I'm saying divided. You'll see later. Then here I have 2 green bell peppers divided, 2 red bell peppers divided, 2 onions divided. I've got 3 large potatoes, again divided, 1 small bulb of garlic. I've got a whole chicken. Now, I just happen to have a 2.5 pound chicken in my freezer. I've thawed it, I've washed it, cut off a little bit of the excess fat, and it's ready to go. You can use a 3-pound chicken, you can use a 3.5 pound chicken. I wouldn't go over 3.5 pounds. 3 pounds is the perfect size, but if you want to do even a smaller chicken like I'm doing, 2.5 pounds, that's fine. Then we have bay leaves. We're going to use 2 bay leaves. We have olive oil, and I'm going to use half a cup, but we'll see. And I'll let you know why. A box of, it's almost 1 liter of chicken broth. I've got black pepper, salt. We're going to use a teaspoon of thyme leaves, We're going to use about 10 whole peppercorns. I think I said the black pepper. 2 lemons or to taste. And water. Now, if I've forgotten it, oh, yes, I did forget something. It's somewhere back here. Right, I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere here. Arrowroot starch. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of, 2 or 3 tablespoons of arrowroot starch. You can use cornstarch. I don't prefer it. I prefer the arrowroot starch. Arrowroot starch has no taste, it's bland, but it does the same job as cornstarch. So these are our ingredients. And as we go along, I'm gonna, hence why you should watch the videos so we can know what we're doing. So I'm going to, right off the bat, I'm gonna grab my whole chicken. I'm gonna move over to my pot, which I forgot to remove the cap. So give me a second. Okay, thank you. Now I'm using my pot that I've showed you guys many times, which has a stainless steel strainer insert that goes directly into the pot and you cook. So that means I don't have to tip my pot over to strain my ingredients because I have this strainer. So I just lift it and all my liquid will stay in the pot and my chicken and my vegetables will be here. But if you don't have one of these, when we get to that point, I'll tell you. But basically, you're going to put a colander over a big bowl and you're going to strain your chicken and vegetables and make sure you don't throw out the liquid. Hence, this is the first part of our recipe. We don't want to throw away that liquid. So, I'm just going to grab the whole chicken and put it in the pot. Okay. Thank you. I forgot to get a knife. Hold on. All right. Now, why did I say to almost all my vegetables divided? I have the one pot where I just put the chicken, and I have another clean, large stainless steel pot. And you're going to see what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to grab my carrots. Here's my carrots. I've got 2 large whole carrots, and I've got chopped up carrot. You can dice it, you can cut it in rounds, you can cut it in half moons. They shouldn't be too large. So this chopped up carrot, which is too large, I'm going to put in the pot without the chicken. Okay? Okay, our carrots are in that pot. The 2 whole carrots that I'm holding in my hands, I'm going to put them here in the chicken, but I'm only going to cut them in thirds. So I'm going to cut the carrot, 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, right in the chicken. Now, the other one that I'm holding in my hands is smaller, so I'm just going to cut it in half. Okay? And our carrots are done. Next item. This is our celery leaves. I have a small cereal bowl full of celery leaves. Now, I happen to have celery leaves because I have a garden, but I don't always have celery leaves. If it's January and I don't have any in my freezer, obviously I don't have a garden outside in -40, with half a meter of snow, then I wouldn't use the leaves. But if it's fall or spring or you have some in the freezer, I'm going to toss all the celery leaves into the pot without the chicken where our carrots are. Okay? But if you don't have this, don't worry about it. Next. Our next item is our celery stalks. Now, this is really to taste, but your celery should be more than all your other vegetables. So if you're getting celery from the supermarket, I would use about 4 large celery stalks, chopped up, sliced, And that goes into our pot with the celery leaves and the carrots. Okay. And 2 large celery stalks, whole celery stalks, are going to go into your pot with your chicken. Now, I have more than 2 in my hand, so for those of you who can see, you're going to say, she's saying 2 and she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 in my hands because these are from the garden. And they're not fat and they're not big. So that's why I'm using more. If I were to divide these in my hands, it's like 2 large celery stalks. So take your celery stalks and just, again, just like the carrots, cut them in large pieces, thirds. So each celery stalk, cut it in 3. And just throw it in your pot with your chicken. Pardon me. These are washed and cleaned, and I'm just chopping them up. So I've got, so in here now I've got 2 whole carrots, which I've sliced into 3, and 2 large celery stalks, which I've sliced into about 3 pieces. If you think they're big, slice them in 4. Who cares? Our next item is onions. 2 small onions. I've got a whole onion that I'm going to chop into 4 pieces. So I sliced it in half, and I'm going to slice each half in half. So I'm going to get 4 pieces of onions and just throw them in your pot with your chicken. All right. The rest of the onion, the other onion, dice it and throw it into your pot without the chicken. Your diced vegetables without the chicken shouldn't be they shouldn't be fine. They should be medium size because you're going to boil them up. You don't want them to melt in your soup. You want to pick up a spoonful of soup and you want to get an onion, a piece of celery, you want to get some carrot. Okay, same thing now with the green peppers. I've got, excuse me, 1 large bell pepper. I've cut it in half, and I'm going to cut the half into half, and then I'm going to turn it and cut it horizontally. So I'm going to make my green pepper into 2, 4, that's a little big. I'll make it 6. That's okay. 8 pieces. You want to cut them a little bit smaller, but it'll be easier for you later. 8 pieces. My other green pepper, I've diced into bite-sized pieces. That goes into the pot without the chicken. Pardon me, I'm sorry. I don't know why my throat is so scratchy today. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the red bell peppers. Same thing. 1 large red bell pepper that I'm going to cut into 8 pieces and throw it in my pot with the chicken. Okay. Okay, and my other red bell pepper, I've chopped into bite-sized pieces. That's going to go in the pot without the chicken. So we have 2 pots on our stoves, 1 with the chicken in it, 1 without. Take your garlic, a small bulb of garlic, peel them, and then with your, peel them, and with your knife, slice halfway through each garlic clove and throw all of them into your pot with your chicken. Okay, we're not going to use the potatoes right now. We'll use them in a bit. In your pot with your chicken, I want you to put in 10 whole peppercorns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, because I got a tiny one in my hands. Okay, so we're done with the peppercorns. We're not going to need them again. Yeah. Throw in 2 bay leaves. If they're small, throw in 3. So 1, this is small. Oh, here's a nice, ow. So I'm feeling through my bay leaves and I got a big one in my hands and I lost it. Okay, here's one good one, 2. And I think I'll put another small one in because the first one I put in was pretty small. Okay, 3 bay leaves in the pot with the chicken. So peppercorns, 10 peppercorns and 2 to 3 bay leaves in your pot with your chicken. Chicken broth we're going to use later. Olive oil we're going to use later. Lemons we're going to use later. Pepper we're going to use later. Salt and thyme. And I forgot to get my teaspoon, sorry. Give me a second, guys. I'm a little unorganized, I guess, today. Okay. So, we're going to throw in ground thyme leaves, not powder, thyme leaves. So, a teaspoon. And if it's a heaping teaspoon, it doesn't matter. Teaspoon of thyme. Sorry, guys. Okay. We no longer need the thyme. And a teaspoon of sea salt. And level off your sea salt. Okay, and we're going to need that again. So, I'm going to grab water. There's no rule of how much water you're going to put in. Nice big pot, you want to cover everything with water. So I'm going to pour water into my pot. My burner is off, by the way, right? We're not... Okay, we need a little bit more. Give me a second, I'm just going to grab some water. And bear with me because it's heavy. Oh, and I just spilled it on me. Okay. So I'm just giving myself a shower as well. I think that's pretty good for now. You may have to add some water later. We'll see. And I'm totally soaked because I didn't plan ahead. Okay. I'm going to turn on my oven, or my burner to high. And can you give me the cap for this? Mm-hmm. Still needs more water. It's not covered, but you know what? If I add too much water in here right now, what'll happen is it'll boil over. So I will add more water probably once I see the water go down. Maybe in about, after it starts boiling, maybe about half an hour. So I'm going to cap this. And I'm going to let you guys go for probably about an hour and a half. And we're going to come back and continue with the recipe. Like I said, I may have to add more water in here because of the strainer part of the pot. Sometimes if you add too much water, it boils over. So I know I'm going to add a little bit more water, but I'll probably add some more water around after it's been boiling for about half an hour. So I'm just going to summarize because it sounds complicated. In a large stock pot or soup pot, put your whole chicken, 10 peppercorns, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 2 or 3 bay leaves, 2 large whole carrots cut up in 3, 2 large celery stalks cut up in 3 or 4, 1 onion cut into 4, 1 red bell pepper and 1 green bell pepper cut up into 8 pieces, and a whole small head of garlic with slits in them. Each clove should have a slit in it. And water. And in the pot that doesn't have the chicken, that we're not going to do anything with it right now, we have 1 green bell pepper, 1 red bell pepper, diced. 1 onion, diced. 4 celery stalks, sliced. 2 large carrots, sliced or diced. And I forgot what else. Oh, and I have a bowl of celery leaves as well. If you don't have the celery leaves, don't worry about it. You can still do this. So we can't move on to the recipe. The vegetables that are in the pot without the chicken, just cap it so nothing falls into it and just set it aside for now, okay? We have to boil up the chicken. If you're doing a 3-pound chicken, you definitely probably need about an hour and a half. You want your chicken to be very tender, fall off the bone, and you want your vegetables to be almost mush, let's say. And I will show you in about an hour and a half the next step. So see you in a bit. Okay, guys, we're back. So our chicken soup, I checked it at, I would say the half-hour mark, and it had quite a bit of liquid still. So I checked it at the 1-hour mark. I thought that it still needed more boiling so it could be tender. So I added water, and I basically boiled everything that we put in the pot, the chicken, the carrots, the celery, the peppercorns, thyme, salt, all that stuff, garlic. Everything we put in with the chicken, I boiled it for an hour and a half. So this is where we're at now. So I'm gonna take the pot and put it in my sink. Now remember, I have a pot with a strainer that you lift. You don't. So you would take a huge bowl, I mean huge, and what you would do is you would put a strainer in that bowl, dump out your chicken and vegetables into that bowl, and then into the strainer, and then lift your strainer and make sure the bowl underneath catches the liquid. So I'm going to, I need a dinner plate to set it on, but watch. So I'm gonna lift my strainer that's in my pot with my chicken and vegetables. I'm gonna let all the juice drip out. Juice, the broth. So I'm just shaking it to get as much of the liquid out as possible. And I can hear dripping. So I'm not gonna, just shaking it around, get most of that liquid out. So I'm tilting it just to get it all out. I can still hear quite a bit dripping, so I'm trying to, okay. Now set it on the plate to catch any more drips. I'm going to move over to my stove. My burners are off. I'm going to put my other pot on the burner. My other pot meaning, remember we added all our chopped vegetables, and I'm going to take the broth, the pot with the broth, and I'm going to add it in. Slowly, because it's hot. Oh, I hope this pot is big enough. Yeah, well, now you tell me. Okay, so this pot isn't big enough. Huh. So I'm just going to grab another pot when I find it. I'm going to grab a bigger pot. I don't know, Mom. You think this one? Yeah. I hope it fits in here. Right. So because I don't want to burn myself, I'm going to put it in the sink. And I'm going to... So see, guys, these things happen. So all my vegetables, my broth, it's just this pot that I chose wasn't big enough. So I got another pot. I put it in the sink and I'm going to dump the vegetables and the broth in there. Do we have anything left? Yeah, oh yeah. So I'm just dumping all the vegetables and that broth, half that broth that we put into a bigger pot. No big deal. These things happen. Remember, we've got chopped peppers, celery, carrots. All right. All right. And let's see how much more broth we can get in here. I'm just going to grab the pot with the broth again. And I'm going to pour it in. Okay. I have a little bit more broth, but I'm just going to set it aside. Okay. Now, let's put this on our burner. I'm not going to turn the burner on just yet. Excuse me. I'm going to take the strainer with my chicken and vegetables, put it back in the sink. Okay. You're going to feel. See here? This is celery. Throw it out. This is very mushy carrot. It mushes right in my hands. Throw it out. And you're going to take chicken. So here, I grabbed a leg. You're going to pull out this. Oh, it's a little hot. So you should let it cool down a little bit. You're going to pull off this slimy skin. Throw it out. And you're going to take the nice juicy meat and you're going to shred it into little pieces with your hands, like that. Okay? So like that. Like that. And you're going to do the whole kitchen. This is a slimy part that you don't eat. Whatever feels really slimy and hard, because it might be the cartilage from the bones, throw that out. You want just your meat. No skin, no bones, no fat, no cartilage. Here's a little bone that I pulled out of the leg. Throw it out. At the top of the leg, there's this piece that feels like it's all like little balls. You can pull off some meat from there. Feel with your hands. This is cartilage, soft bone. It can't be eaten. Okay? I've pulled whatever I can off of that. Throw it out. Bone, just a bone. Throw it out. And feel and see if there's any meat here. Get all this slimy skin and guck off. And there's no meat there. So I'll just do one more small piece for you guys so you can see. Oh, well, I just got a pepper in my hand. That's all mushed. That goes in the garbage. And that's another pepper. Carrots, garbage. Okay. Well, I went to pull the leg and I actually got left in the hand with just a bone. So I'm just gonna grab that piece. Okay. Oh, hot, 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 hot. Okay. So again, like nice meat. If I flip this piece over, this is all skin. How do I know it's skin? Because it's all slimy and it's paper thin. You can feel the skin. So I'm gonna shred the whole chicken, throw these vegetables out, and we'll come back and I'll show you the next steps. Hey guys, again we're back. And I shredded all my chicken. It's on a plate. There are some pieces that are really shredded. There's some bite-sized pieces. Please don't get picky. It's just, like I said, throw away the bones, the skin, any cartilage, anything slimy. And I want to mention also that when you're picking up your vegetables that are basically now mush because they were boiling for an hour and a half, squeeze them in your hands because liquid will come out into your, so the broth that you have in the bowl, you squeeze over that. So we said you're going to take your chicken and vegetables with the broth off the stove. You're going to put a huge bowl. You're going to put a colander in it. You're going to pour your vegetables and your chicken in the colander. You're going to lift your colander, make sure all the liquid, like it's not dripping. You can put it in another, I don't know, on a plate, in a bowl, huge bowl or something, just in case liquid seeps out. And as you're picking through your chicken, you're also going to pick up vegetables. Squeeze over the bowl of broth that you saved, that we poured into our pot with the vegetables. So I'm going to add my chicken now, where we added all our broth and our cut up vegetables. Okay. So our chicken is in, our chopped green peppers, red peppers, celery leaves, carrots, and onions are in our pot. Now take your potatoes. I told you that I cut up one potato into big wedges. There's a reason for this. These wedges, after our mixture has boiled, you're going to pick them out and you're going to mash these and put them back in. So this is another way of thickening up, thickening up your chicken soup. So I'm adding the potato wedges in. So they're huge. I think I cut my large potato into 6, something like that. Now I'm going to grab all the bite-sized potatoes with my hands and throw them in. So I'm just grabbing handfuls out of the water. I had the potatoes sitting in water so that they don't go black or brown or whatever. So I'm just lifting up handfuls. I'm letting the excess liquid drip off and I'm pouring it into the mixture. So now we've got diced potatoes, diced peppers, red and green, diced celery, celery leaves, diced carrots, our chicken, our broth, which is full of vitamins. I'm almost done. Okay, just a couple of more pieces. And that's it. Okay, I'm going to turn this up to high, uncovered, and I'm just going to grab my salt and pepper. Oops. Sorry, hold on. I'm just getting rid of the liquid that was in that bowl, the water. Okay. So, sea salt, a teaspoon. Now, I'm going to pour the teaspoon into the soup, but I'm going to taste later on to see if this is sufficient. This is a big, big pot of soup. I have to tell you guys that I overfilled with broth. I would have added store-bought broth as well. But I got a lot of broth out of this chicken because, just because. And that might happen. But what you could do is you could add your broth, like I did now. And I don't need that anymore. And then, if you want, you could add a box of store-bought as well. You don't have to. The store-bought is optional. So I'm just going to throw in now a couple of big pinches of pepper. Okay. And I forgot, yeah, never mind. I didn't forget anything. So we don't need the pepper anymore. I'm going to grab a spoon. That's what I forgot. And I'm going to stir this all up. Okay. Once this starts boiling, I want you to set your timers for 30 minutes. And then we're going to move on to the next step of the soup. I think I may have confused you guys a little bit, and I'm sorry about that. But if you really watch the video, you'll figure it out. You put your whole pieces of vegetable and your chicken in one pot, and your chopped up vegetables in the other pot. After an hour and a half, you shred your chicken, add it to your chopped vegetables, add the broth that you cooked your chicken and vegetables in, add salt and pepper, your whatever, diced chicken if I didn't say that already, and boil it for 30 minutes on high, uncovered. And we'll come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay guys, we're back. So I let my soup boil on high for about, I would say 30 to 35 minutes. And the broth that I had left, which didn't fit in my pot, now fit. I actually just poured some into a glass and the rest I put in my pot. So I'm going to add into this broth 3 tablespoons of arrowroot starch. And like I said, if you want to use cornstarch, go ahead, but I don't prefer it. So here's 1 tablespoon. I'm going to add it into the broth. And I'm going to stir with a spoon to dissolve the arrowroot starch. So you're just stirring your broth with your arrowroot. I'm going to add another one. I'm just scooping and leveling off. I'm not packing it. Add another one, stir. And I'm going to add 1 more. Just because our soup, it's a big pot of soup. Okay, a 1/3 tablespoon. And that's good enough. And stir. I'm going to dip my finger in and see if I can feel any clumps. I don't. But I'm going to keep stirring just to be sure. And I'm scraping the sides of the glass with the tip of the spoon, just in case. And I'm stirring. And I think we're good. We're good? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to add this into my soup. So that's your cornstarch and some broth. And somewhere I had a wooden spoon, but Mom put it somewhere, and the cameraman found it. So I'm going to give my soup a stir. So all the broth from our chicken is in, because when we let it boil on high for the 30-35 minutes uncovered, a lot of the broth dissolved. So let's put that there. Okay. Now, and we don't need this anymore. Let me cap the arrowroot so no accidents happen. Okay, I've got my box of chicken broth. Give it a shake. And I'm gonna add this in because now I can. Oh. Yeah, I just hit the camera with my hand. I wanted to grab my spoon to see how high up I am. I think I can add a little more. This is just for extra taste. It's optional. You don't have to add it in. I think we're good. Think we're good? I think we're good. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm actually going to use the rest of this. So I added about half a box probably. I'm going to set it aside because I'm actually going to use that broth to make my rice. So I'm going to make rice, but instead of, so my rice, if you go back, way back when I made rice, and you'll see that I used 2 cups rice and 3.5 cups of water, I'm going to try to use as much broth in place of the water as possible. Because I'm going to cook my rice separately, and I'm going to ladle it into bowls, and then I'm going to add the soup. You'll see. We'll do it in a bit. So I'm just grabbing a fork. I pulled out the big chunks of, remember we put in these 7 or 8 wedges of potato? So I've pulled them out and I'm gonna mash them with a fork. So I have them in a bowl and I'm just mashing them. You wanna mash this like mashed potatoes, but I'm using a fork, okay? And this stuff is pretty boiled up and it'll mash easy. Just use a fork, just like you mash bananas with a fork. And I'm feeling with my hands to see how much I've mashed it. And I want it pretty mashed. Now, with a fork, you're not going to get the potatoes mashed like totally. You might have a few lumps, but that's okay. Try to mash it as much as possible. And actually, you can just add, if you want to help you, you can add a teaspoon of the chicken broth, and that way you can get it even smoother. But I don't feel like I need to. I'm feeling it with my fingers, and I have a few lumps, and that's it. Big deal. So I'm just mashing, and we're good. It's all mashed up, just like mashed potatoes. So I'm going to add this back into my pot now. And be careful, your soup is boiling on high, and I'm going to tip the bowl over, but not facing me, because I'm going to drop the potato in and it's going to go splat, and it might burn me. So the bottom of the bowl is facing my chest, and the open part of the bowl where I'm pushing the potato into the soup is facing my my buttons. Now, I don't know if I got it all, so I'm going to use my hands. I know I have some on the fork, so I'm just going to throw it off my fork. Okay, and I'm going to feel, there's a few little pieces, so now I'm going to drop them in slowly so I don't burn myself. Okay, potato is in. Let's give it a stir. So we've got our arrowroot slurry. You know, the arrowroot that we dissolved in the chicken broth. We've got it in here. All our vegetables and chicken and our mashed potato. And I'm just going to rinse my hands off from a little bit of potato that's stuck. Okay, our final step, guys. So, I have something called a drink mixer. It's a gadget that has this long steel thing, and you mix up shakes in there. We make iced coffee there. You can do stuff like that. It's a drink mixer. So it comes with a stainless steel container, and in here I've got half a cup of oil. So I'm gonna put it on the gadget. I'm not gonna turn it on. It's plugged in. Now, you can do this with a food processor. You're gonna beat your oil and you're gonna add the juice of 2 lemons slowly. A very slow stream. You want this to thicken up and be like a lemon sauce. Like my mom does it by hand. She pours the oil into a bowl, and with her one hand she beats the oil, while with her other hand she's pouring the lemon juice. I have a hard time doing it that way, so I use this gadget. So it's gonna be a little bit loud. I'm gonna turn it on. I've got the lemon sifter in my hands where I've squeezed juice of 2 lemons. So I'm gonna turn it on. So now this is mixing the oil, but there's nothing else in there. So I'm gonna start pouring little bit of lemon juice. Okay, I poured a little bit, and I'm gonna wait like 5-10 seconds. I'm gonna pour a little bit more. Okay, I felt some drop, so I'm gonna leave it for another 5-10 seconds. Now I'm gonna pour a little bit more. Gonna wait. And again. I think I poured a little bit too much there, but that's okay. No harm done. I've still got at least more than half of what I've squeezed. So a little bit more now. And you can just count in your mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again. And you could do this with, like I said, with a food processor running. If you've got a feed or a, or you can do it by hand. And again. And again. So you see, juice of 2 lemons. Look how slowly I'm pouring it in. Again. I still have. Again. So you're pouring very little at a time. Again. Again. And we're almost done. And again. So I let quite a bit drop into the oil now, but very slowly. And again. Letting it drop in slowly. And I'm feeling it drop in with my finger. I'm putting my finger at the edge of the lemon sifter, where the point is, and I'm feeling it drop in. So I'm feeling how much I'm letting drop in and how slow. And I've got just a touch more. And I'm gonna... Do you hear the mixture making a different sound? It's because it's getting thick. Now, I need to stop it, sorry. Need to stop it for a second because I want to get my last drops in and I can't do it with the thing running. So, I'm just getting it all in because there's only like, I don't know, half a teaspoon was left. So I'm going to give it another beat. And I actually can hear the mixer that it's not running smoothly. It's not making that. It's going because it's getting thicker. It's not a steady sound. And I'm gonna just turn it to high for a second. How does it look?
Really good.
I should show the expert, my mom, because she does it by hand. I'm just gonna, I'm rinsing off the, so you can remove the part that mixes. I rinsed it off before I wash it. So I'm gonna move over to my pot. Where's my spoon? Do I have, oh, okay. And I'm gonna dump this in now. And it's all nice and thick. Okay. That's our final step to our soup. I'm mixing it all up. And I'm gonna let this boil and thicken up for about 15 minutes. And also I'm going to stir, not constantly, but occasionally. But when I say occasionally, I mean, for example, once every minute. Because this is where you risk your soup sticking and burning. Because you've got this, you've got the arrowroot slurry, you've got the mashed potato, and you've got the olive oil lemon mixture. Okay? So, I will come back when when this is ready, and I will show you the final result. See you in a bit. Okay guys, we're back. Finally, our chicken soup is done. I have to tell you, it turned out fabulous. I want to explain something to you guys. I said when I added the thick lemon oil mixture, that I'm going to let it boil up for about 10-15 minutes till it thickens up. And you know what? I'll know this for the next time. What happened was, because I added the mashed potato and the arrowroot starch with the broth slurry, by the time, remember it took me forever to add in the lemon juice into the oil while I was beating it? So my soup, when I added the lemon oil, actually ended up thickening up within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes of constant stirring, so that it doesn't stick on me, it was ready. So, we have two choices. I either beat the lemon juice with the oil, then I make the slurry, then I mash the potato, and I add it all in at once, and then boil it up for about 10-15 minutes, or do it this way. Mash your potatoes, add them in, make your slurry, add it in, and then by the time you finish beating the olive oil with adding the lemon juice slowly, by the time you actually finish, and add it in, 5 minutes and your soup is done. So those are my notes. I've made this soup 1,000 times, but I never did it on video So obviously things went different. But you know what? I like this new way of doing it. It worked out fantastic. So I have a bowl. And I have my cooked rice ready. So now I don't want a lot of rice in my soup. Somebody might want more. So I'm just going to grab, we'll see. I'll grab a ladle full of rice and I'm going to put it in my bowl. And we'll see if that's enough for me, okay? So I'm going to, I'm going to go over my soup. Let's give it a stir. Oh, it smells fantastic. Okay, and I'm going to add in a ladleful. Okay, going to add in one more ladle. Okay, I'm going to grab a spoon. Just a soup spoon. Mix it up. Break up the rice. Mix it up. And actually, that's perfect for me. I don't want more rice. Somebody might want more. It's preference. How much rice you want. And there's our chicken soup. Lots of vegetables. Lemony. Wholesome chicken. Great tasting. Chicken and rice soup. Zoe's chicken and rice soup. I can't wait to chow down. It looks fantastic. And that's it for this recipe. I hope I didn't confuse you guys too much. Keep watching. Love you. And see you on the next episode. I am your host, Zoe Fiogos. With sincere love and gratitude, I thank you for watching Zoe's Blind Kitchen Corner.